John was a Canadian boy. He was very sad because his mother had been taken away to hospital. John's father was a lumberjack. He said that John would have to go and stay at the lumber camp for a week, until mother was well again. Snow covered the ground, and the cold wind whistled through the forest. When John arrived, Mr. Margot, John's father, had prepared a bunk for John to sleep in. It was cozy and warm inside their cabin. The next day John was wrapped up in coat, scarf and gloves. His father said that he could spend the day with Fred, the tractor driver. From his seat beside Fred, John watched his father and another man begin to fell a tall tree. With their axes they made a deep cut into trunk. Then they took a large saw with a handle at each end. From the side opposite to the deep cut they began to saw through the truck. When the saw was nearly through to the deep cut, John was startled by a sharp splintering noise. Immediately John's father and his workmate dropped the saw and leapt out of the way. The tall tree seemed to tremble and waver for a second. Then crash! It fell with a mighty thud that shook the ground. Other men started to work on the tree, cutting off the branches and sawing the huge tree trunk into logs. Then the logs were loaded onto the sledge, which was fastened to Fred's tractor. Slowly the tractor hauled the logs to the bank of the river, where they were stacked. Fred told John that in spring, when the thaw came, the logs would be sent into the river to float down to the sawmill. When the logs are sent into the river to be floated down to the sawmill, they sometimes become packed and wedged together. The lumberjacks call this a log jam. Then the lumberjacks have to run onto the logs and try to move the jammed logs with long poles. This is very dangerous work.